So after your inspections, lesson number 1 is learning how to drive. Learning how to drive, also known as control of the car, which can be broken up in 4 parts: pulling off, changing gears, turning, and stopping. Before we teach you how to pull off, change gears, turn, and stop, before we teach you how to control the car, before we teach you how to drive, we need to know where the instruments are in order to make use of them in the correct manner. So at the bottom we have 3 pedals: A, B, and C. A for accelerator, B for brake, C for clutch. There's something called muscle memory. Although you may know where A, B, and C are, although you may know where A accelerator, B brake, and C clutch is, your feet may still, if the instructor calls out brake, your foot may still go to the wrong pedal because you don't have muscle memory of your foot moving to the right pedal. So before you even start the car, you should sit with the car off and without looking at the pedals, instructor should call A, move your foot to the accelerator. If he calls B, move your foot to the brake. If he calls out C, move your foot to the clutch. This is called muscle memory and is very useful for driving. When you're driving, your eyes are on the road, you're not looking at the pedals, your feet needs to know where to move to the correct pedals. So we'll call it out once or twice: brake, accelerator, clutch. So notice your left foot is only for the clutch and your right foot will alternate between accelerator and brake. So it will be accelerator, brake, and clutch. So I'll advise you do this for about 4 minutes while the car is off without looking at the pedals, because when you're driving, your eyes are on the road, until your feet develop muscle memory. So after your pedals, we have your gear lever on the left hand side. So we have 5 gears and the reverse gear. When your gears, the line in the middle is called neutral. When your gears are in neutral, if you notice, the entire movement from right to left is your neutral gear, is your gears in neutral. If you push your gear all the way to the right and you leave it, it automatically swings back to the center in between 3 and 4 in the middle. If you push it all the way to the left, it automatically swings back to the center in between 3 and 4 in the middle. On the top of your gears is a map of where your first gears are, where your second gear is, your third gear, your fourth gear, and your fifth gear. So now when the gears are in neutral, we know it always automatically situates itself in between 3 and 4 in the center. So now using the map on the gear to go to first gear, it's to the left and up. So we'll try that now. Left and up. We'll push it in neutral, automatically goes to the center. So notice when we go to first gear, we hold our thumb on the right hand side, push the gear all the way to the left and up with our palm. First gear is left and up. To go to second gear, same procedure, push it all the way to the left and down with your index finger. So first gear, second gear. First gear is to the left and up, back into neutral. Second gear is to the left and down, back into neutral. You can also practice going from first gear straight into second gear. You'll hold your thumb all the way on the left, push it down all the way along the sidewall. In between first and second, you'll feel there's a little knob in the middle. That's you passing neutral gear. In between first and second, you'll be passing the neutral. You'll feel a little click in between. Take note of that click. So first gear is to the left and up. Second gear is on the sidewall all the way down. And third gear, all you do is you push it in neutral, you leave it. It'll automatically align itself in between 3 and 4, and then you push it straight up. So first gear is to the left and up. Second gear is all the way down. Third gear in neutral, you leave it a second and all the way up. For the purpose of training, we're not going to use fourth gear and fifth gear at the moment. Your reverse gear will be the same as second gear in the opposite direction, all the way to the right and down, back into neutral. So before you start your vehicle, you should practice this with your vehicle off without looking at your gears. You can start off by first looking at the gears, making sure you're selecting the right gear. Thereafter, hold your head up, look on the road in front of you. Without looking, try and get muscle memory so your hands know where the gears are, so that when you are driving, you can smoothly select the correct gear. Before we even start the car, we ran through your pedals, A, B, and C. You build muscle memory while the car is off. Take your foot through A, B, and C. Right foot using accelerator and brake, left foot only for the clutch. After that, we built muscle memory for your first three gears. For the purpose of training, we left out fourth gear and fifth gear. We used first, second, third, and reverse. Usually in your test, you only go up to third gear. They don't take you on freeways in your test. So for the purpose of training, you can build up muscle memory for fourth gear and fifth gear as well. So when the car's off, select your gears without looking. You can start off by looking and work your way till your eyes on in front of you and your hands selecting the gear correctly. So that when you're in traffic and there's cars in front of you and you need to select a gear, your hand just knows where it is and smoothly selects into the correct gear. So all of this is done while the car is off. Before you even start the car, we are practicing our foot moving to the right pedal, our hands moving to the correct gears. We even practice with the steering wheel. So if you want to move your steering wheel to the right, and you first indicate to the right and move it slightly, and if you want to move your steering wheel to the left, you first indicate to the left, move your steering wheel correctly. So this builds muscle memory that before you turn, you indicate. Later on, we'll add the K53 safety observations, whereby before we turn, we first check mirror, mirror, blind spot, and then turn. But for the purpose of learning, we first teach control of the car, which is pulling off, changing gears, turning, and stopping. We first teach you how to manage the controls. Once you smoothly managing the controls of the car, thereafter we can add in our K53 observations, mirror, mirror, blind spot, indicate, etc. So we're still running through our controls. We've been through our pedals. We've been through our gears, our steering wheel. While the car is off, we can practice indicating to the right, tilt it slightly, indicate to the left, tilt it slightly. It builds a nice, smooth confidence on the road, which is needed before you even start the car and just um, attempt to move the car forward. Another instrument which you will be using every time you pull away and every time you stop your vehicle is your handbrake. If you notice, the handbrake has a button which locks it in a parked position. If I push this button in, it does not release the handbrake. So we're going to show you how to put the handbrake down. So in order to release the button, you raise it slightly. If you notice how the button moves in a bit when I raise it. So when you raise it slightly, it unlocks the button, you push it in, drop your handbrake. And to pull up your handbrake, it should not make this sound. The clicking sound should not happen. If you do that on your test, they're -1 point. So to drop your handbrake, you can push your button in. One click is fine when the button goes in. Coming up, button in, handbrake up. So the sound you want to avoid making is this. And that's your ratchet. So handbrake down, handbrake up. So those are your instruments. Your three pedals, gear lever, steering wheel, indicator, and handbrake. All of your instruments, you have a good idea of how to turn your steering wheel to the right, indicate. You have a good idea of where your pedals are. Your foot knows which pedal to go to at the correct time when it's needed. You have a good idea of where your gears are. Your hands can smoothly run through the gears without looking. You can easily put the handbrake down. A lot of learners, they get stuck. They can't put the handbrake down when it's needed. So once you've run through all of the instruments while your vehicle is off and you feel comfortable, we can now start the car. When you start the car, you make sure your gears are in neutral.